This one little word can make a huge difference in legitimacy of your student's degree, and it can even impact their scholarship search. If overlooked, not only can it actually reduce the number of scholarships that your student can apply to, as well as other financial aid, but it could also mean that they might be passed up for job opportunities down the road or even be paid less than their peers. So, what is this little word that is so important for your student's future? It is accreditation. So, if your student is in the college search process right now and they are considering different colleges, then this is a very important word to understand. Besides choosing a college, again, this can also impact their scholarship search and their financial aid application process. So, we're going to explain what this word means, why it's important, and how we can ensure that we are following the accreditation requirements. Let's go ahead and jump in. Hey there, my name is Jocelyn Pearson, founder of the Scholarship System and Debt Free Degree Lab, where we redefine paying for college to help families build strong financial futures and avoid ones where they're paying on student loans for decades. Now, we primarily focus on scholarships. In fact, our families have now passed $10.5 million in scholarships received, which is incredible. And this word accreditation actually has shown up a lot over the years of doing this. So I want to go ahead and jump into explaining what this word means and why it is so important. Now, don't forget to hit subscribe because every single week we're releasing a new strategy to help you work towards a debt-free degree with your student. This term, again, is very important because it does affect financial aid, but every week we have such a wide array of different topics that we cover. So again, make sure you hit subscribe. So whether or not a college or a program is accredited matters. And it may matter more than what you think. So, what is accreditation? Basically, accreditation is when a college or a program meets specific criteria to ensure the quality of a program. So, think of this as a stamp of approval saying, yes, this is a legitimate college, this is a legitimate program, and the student will graduate prepared. We have all seen the scams out there with illegitimate online universities or even some in person where they really actually were just kind of money rackets. Following accreditation can help your student avoid that situation. Now, accreditation typically involves a panel that is reviewed by an independent body to ensure certain parameters are indeed met. It can be a fairly lengthy process. So accreditation, it's voluntary technically, but again, it allows a college to become more reputable, and also, we're going to talk about it, it's actually going to make it eligible for certain financial aid access. Now, there are three main accreditation types. One is national. So national accreditation agencies vet schools throughout the entire country. In most cases, the organizations focus on for-profit colleges and universities, as well as certain vocational or tech schools. Generally, nationally accredited schools will transfer credits, they'll accept transfer credits from both nationally and regionally accredited schools. So let's get into regionally accredited schools, which is the second category. So regional accreditation is based on a specific geographic region, typically a state. Many believe that regionally accredited bodies are actually more academically oriented, maintaining the toughest possible standards. So this might be surprising to you. It might be a little bit counterintuitive. You would think that a national accreditation throughout the entire country might be more legitimate than just a region, but actually just think of it as a region has way less that they have to focus on and assess, and so they can be a little bit more in the depth of things and a little bit more particular about who they're going to approve and give accreditation to. Often nonprofit, state colleges and universities opt in for regional accreditation. Now, transferring is where this can be important. So if your student is at a nationally accredited institution and they're trying to transfer to a regionally accredited institution, it is not guaranteed that they will accept the credits. Some may, Typically, they will accept regionally accredited institution credits, but nationally is not guaranteed. So if you're going in the other direction from a regionally accredited institution to a nationally accredited institution, then it'll be easier, but vice versa, it might be a little bit more difficult. Now, the third and last accreditation is specialized. So this goal is to ensure that a particular program meets the requirements based on a career path that the student will enter once they graduate. Think of nursing or law here. So they want to make sure that if you are pursuing a career in these fields that are very important, that we know that they're qualified, we know that they've got the experience that they need in order to begin working on human beings in a nursing program or upholding the law in our courts and in our system, then they want to know that program is meeting those standards. And so this is more a specialized accreditation. Comment below, have you ever heard about accreditation? Is this something new to you? Or if it's not and you've looked into it, what accreditation is your student's institution that they're considering? Go ahead and comment below. I would love to see what your student is focusing on. Now, I've briefly touched on why accreditation is important, but let's go ahead and get into a specific list of reasons. First and foremost, it just ensures a certain level of educational quality. We all want to know that our investment in this degree, which might be one of the biggest investments at this point that your student ever makes besides a home, is worth it. We want to know that they are going to get a positive ROI on it, and therefore we need to know that it is a legitimate program. Accreditation typically can help ensure that. Secondly, a lack of accreditation can actually leave persons ineligible for jobs in fields. So like I mentioned earlier, nursing. If they come from a non-accredited institution and try to pursue nursing, many programs, if not all, probably will deny them because they didn't go to a validated program. This can also be in fields as far as something non-medical, like actually a person on our team, their spouse went to an accredited institution, but their program wasn't accredited in forestry. And actually, he was passed up for a job opportunity because of it. So it can also mean that a student isn't eligible for certain jobs if it's not accredited. I touched on this earlier, but it can also mean a loss of credits. So if your student wants to transfer, maybe they were at a non-accredited institution and they want to go to an accredited one, chances are they will probably lose some credits. Also, if they went from national to regional, they may lose some credits there. Now, if they are at a regionally accredited institution, they go the other direction to a nationally one, then the chances of losing credits are a little bit less there. Now, here is a huge reason why we want to stick to accredited institutions, and that is because non-accredited schools are ineligible for FAFSA. If you are unfamiliar with FAFSA, then you need to go to our channel and go to the playlist FAFSA. We will link to it in the description as well below, and make sure that you go through those videos because FAFSA is a huge opportunity for students to receive funding to help pay for college. Now, if they are not eligible to even get access to FAFSA, then that means that they are no longer eligible for any kind of government-based funding. Some of it doesn't have to be paid back, like grants, but some of it includes student loans. Now, you might be thinking, well, we don't want loans anyway. Of course, that's why we're here with the scholarship system. It's to avoid those loans. However, if we do need loans, the best requirements and the best circumstances when it comes to loans are the ones through the government because you don't need a cosigner, and I can go on and on. Again, there's a whole playlist around FAFSA, but ultimately we want access to it. It's one of the first steps that we tell families to do when it comes to paying for college. So by going to a non-accredited school, this option is completely eliminated, which could be the difference of tens of thousands of dollars for your student. Now, lastly, if your student finds themselves in the situation where they're at a non-accredited school, they can't do FAFSA, then they can pursue scholarships. Now, scholarships, this is my bread and butter. I got over 6 figures and graduated debt-free thanks to scholarships. And again, our families have surpassed $10 million in scholarships. So we know what we're doing with scholarships. But that said, we will include a training below. Again, find all the links, the important links in the description, or you can go to scholarshipsystem.com/free training where your student can learn to find legitimate scholarships that they can use to pay for college. But again, that said, a lot of these will also say that the school has to be accredited, because they want to know that if they're giving money to a college, is it a legitimate college? Again, we've seen all the scams. They don't want to give the money to a scam school. We want to make sure that students are going to legitimate institutions. So there are some that don't even mention an accreditation requirement, but there are many that do. So this is especially because a lot of scholarships can be used at any institution. So if they don't specify, okay, it has to be used at University of South Carolina, instead they might say it just has to be used at an accredited institution. So scholarships is another reason why, if we can, we want to pursue an accredited institution and or a program that's accredited. So I think we understand why this is important, and hopefully you understand the different types of accreditation. So now let's talk about how you and your student can figure out if a program and an institution is indeed accredited. So first and foremost, start by searching the school's website. A lot of times they will make it very obvious that they are accredited. So make sure that you and your student do the research. And again, not only into the institution, but you also want to look into the program's accreditation. Now, the U.S. Department of Education has an online tool that allows students and parents to look this information up. We'll link again in the description to it, but it's ed.gov/accreditation at the time of recording this. And if the link gets updated, we'll make sure to update the description, but for now, that's where you should be able to find it. And there, students can actually look into institutional accreditations as well as individual program accreditations, giving them all the information that they need in order to select a college and a particular program that they want to pursue. So this is a very important step in that research process when we're choosing a college. Again, I think that a lot of students assume that colleges are accredited, that colleges have that stamp of approval, but again, it's just not guaranteed. And I know that a lot of students don't go into a school with the plan of transferring, but this is something to consider as well, since actually a lot of students tend to transfer. You'd be surprised. So there you go. By doing your due diligence and finding out the accreditation status of not only the school, but also the program before your student enrolls, can possibly save them semesters, not to mention thousands of dollars when it comes to transferring, but it can also save them from a headache when it comes to applying for jobs, and also from receiving fair pay, so that they have the creme de la creme of the degree, so that they know that they have the most accredited, most legitimate degree for their field, and therefore increases their chances of getting jobs and getting the bulk pay that they can get for that degree. Now, if you have not, again, make sure you click subscribe, because every week we're talking about new strategies to help pay for college. And again, if you're concerned about this, if you know that your student needs to really maximize those scholarships to help pay the bill, make sure you check out that free training below. All right, again, this is Jocelyn from the Scholarship System and Debt Free Degree Lab, and I will see you in the next video. Bye now.